Two people are waiting. Okay, how do I find them? Right there. Net Mason and iPhone. Who is that?
Good evening. Hey, Mike. Can you hear me, Mike?
I
Can you hear me, Judge?
Yeah, I hear you.
Do you hear any background? I got a fan going.
I'm not noticing it.
Okay, if you do, let me know.
All right. Okay, if everybody can hear me okay, we got about 1 minute to go. Looks like we've got everybody on here, at least with Fiscal Court. Ken's on here, the clerk and the sheriff and Chris Limp. So, Jim, if you want to go ahead and start with a prayer, it'd be appropriate. You're muted, Jim.
Gotcha. Father in heaven, we thank you for this day. We thank you again for this opportunity, as we always do, that we can come and meet together as leaders of this community in this county, and we ask for your wisdom and guidance in the decisions we make. Father, we ask for your mercy upon this county and all the people in it.
Jim, you're muted again.
We thank you for your son, Jesus Christ, and it's in his name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay. It is Tuesday, January the 19th. I see the agenda has an error on it. It says Monday, but it is Tuesday, the 19th and of January 2021. We are ready to conduct business, and if the clerk will please call the roll.
Squire Brewer.
Here.
Squire Mike Moody.
Here.
Squire Beaverson.
Here.
Squire Beaverson there.
Here.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Yes, barely. Judge Riley.
Here.
Squire Travis.
Here.
Squire Jerry Moody.
Here.
Everyone's here, and the first item of business will be approval of the minutes of prior court meeting. That would be January 4th, 2021.
Motion to approve.
Was wrong.
With any changes.
Got a motion?
Barber, second.
We've got a second. Are there any corrections? If not, please call the roll.
Squire Mike Moody.
Yes.
Squire Beaverson.
Yes.
Judge Riley.
Yes.
Squire Travis.
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody.
Yes.
Squire Brewer.
Yes.
Motion passes and the minutes are approved. Next item is communications from Judge Executive. We've got a long meeting, so I'm just going to make this very brief. The EMS FEMA hazard mitigation grant for generators. We applied for a grant. It was to cover the EMS main building and the ambulance barn. The estimates that we got were from, Chris might be able to refresh my memory. They were a couple, 2 or 3 years old, I guess.
2015.
2015, so they were substantially old. We were approved for $39,000. However, the estimates that we've been getting for both run somewhere between 70 and 80,000. So we want to amend our scope of work to only do the main EMS building. And we are going to apply for, there is some additional funding available that we're going to apply for. The main building is going to be, Chris, do you know, it's, I think, somewhere around 54,000. So with what we've been approved for, and if we are granted the additional funds, we should be able to do that. We may have to put some in from the general fund. I say some, maybe a couple, 2,000 or 3,000 at most. And then we can come back at some later point in time and do the ambulance barn. So all that's in the works. We're just going to change the scope of work to put emergency generators on the main EMS building. Litter abatement funding, we did receive the litter abatement money, $30,596, and that's for the calendar year of 2021. And we are going to need more security cameras. I'm going to probably call on Brett and Mike to take a look at that. I believe, do you know, Doug, if we ordered those cameras for the road barn? I'm not sure. We had a couple of incidents up at the road barn, so we're going to definitely put some security cameras up there, but we need to look at the parks and some other areas as well. With that, don't have anything else. We're going to move on to communications from citizens. Does anyone like to address the court this evening?
Can you hear me, Judge Riley?
I can.
I'd like to speak.
All right, you've got 3 minutes.
Good evening, Counselor Jones. The first issue that I'm going to speak about deals with you. You are aware that some weeks ago, I received a letter involving the legal interpretation of whether or not Spencer County Fiscal Court can have the road department perform tasks or services for the county that are not road related. And I'm not going to go into great detail. I have not gotten anything back from you, either written or orally. And I'm wondering if you have made a conclusion and if you have legally briefed fiscal court on what they can and cannot do. I'd certainly like to hear from you tonight, if you could. The second and last issue is this. Brett Beaverson received an email from a Spencer County resident. The name of that resident is Bobby Whiteley, basically wanting fiscal court to pursue the avenue under Section 105 of the Kentucky Constitution to do away with the jailer's position, give it to the sheriffs, and in saving the money, increase the coroner's salary to some degree. I understand that the judge has made a comment that there would be land coming available for purchase. I suspect that that land is the parking lot behind the courthouse annex the school currently owns and parks their buses on. And since they bought the old state highway garage and are building a new bus compound to store the buses, I've confirmed that is going to come up for sale. So I would encourage this fiscal court to do away with the jailer, his position, his $50,000, and spend, if we spent $100,000 on a gravel parking lot, surely we can spend $500,000 or $1 million on a parking lot that has asphalt. And we ought to go big on this, guys. I want an elevated walkway from the new courthouse over to the parking lot so that people won't get wet. We won't have issues of snow and ice to worry about. Maybe we could even have one of these conveyor belts to where for our overweight people, since we had to get the stretchers for the ambulance because everybody's so fat, maybe we could just have it to where you could just step on it and it will transport you over to the courthouse from the parking lot. I mean, really, money's no object at this point. Of course, I don't know that AOC is actually going to build the courthouse. But hey, that's really not an issue, is it? We need to spend money. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Does anyone else wish to address the court this evening? If not, we're going to move on to communications reports from members, other offices, and committees. First up is zoning, and Julie, I believe you are on here.
Okay, I have one first reading for this evening. I have the application of Top Flight Development requesting Ag1 Agricultural to R1 Residential on 12.7 acres located in the 2700 block of Hochstrasser Road. recommend to rezone the application of Top Flight Development, requesting zone change from Ag 1 agricultural to R1 residential on 12.7 acres located in the 2700 block of Hochstrasser Road. It does meet the guidelines, regulations, and setbacks for planning and zoning, and the developer agrees to put a 40-foot setback line in the rear of the lots with the restrictions of 1,800 square foot homes to be built of brick, stone, or hardy board, and 40 feet again on that back property line. That motion was seconded by Commissioner Knoll. After a roll call vote, the motion carries. And that is the only reading I have. I will let you know, due to time restraints on the public notice, it will not come up for second reading at the next meeting. It will have to wait till the following meeting.
All right. Anything else, Julie?
I think that's all I have.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Next is Chris Lemp with a EMS emergency management COVID update. You're muted, Chris.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now we can.
We received word just a few days ago, less than a week ago, that the governor is shifting the COVID vaccine away from the health department, concentrating on getting K through 12 school systems vaccinated. And it sounds like they're going to shift the rest of it to Kroger to do drive-through COVID vaccine clinics. We have vaccinated at this time just over 400 in Spencer County. Those 400 will receive their second dose from the health department. They will be contacted and given a time. Looks like it'll be the same process as we did the first two vaccination clinics to do a drive-through at the firehouse on Water Street. But we'll get more details as those dates become closer. And should anything change and the vaccine come back to the health department, we'll begin vaccinations again the same way we've been doing them.
Oh, okay. Any other updates from EMS?
No.
Okay, I know we've got some stuff on the agenda later on here. All right. Next up is Squire Brewer with the Safety Committee report. Anything to report?
I have nothing. We are going to have our safety briefing next month.
Okay. All right. And solid waste, Squire Travis.
Okay, I got your email today asking us to make sure we get our annual reports into Frankfurt from our solid waste committee. I talked to Karen today, and we're going to do that. It's got to be done by March 1st, and she's working on it already, so it will be done. That's it.
Good deal. Next up is Squire Brewer with the Veterans Committee report.
I have nothing to report.
All right. Next up is the Equipment Committee report. I know we've got some things on new business, but Jerry, do you have anything other than what we're going to have later on?
No, everything's under new business, I think.
Okay, good enough. And Telecommunications Committee, Squire Beaverson, I've got some stuff in.
I have nothing.
Okay. And next up is the Jailer Quarterly Report. That's in your packet. And I see the jailer is on here. Do you have any questions on his report? Okay.
Judge, I do have one question real quick. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
You say the jailer's on here?
Yeah.
I'd just like to know the runs that he indicates that he has assisted the other departments. Are those runs that are called in by him that he is going on to assist, or is just that he goes and assists and there's no record of it?
There's some. Can you hear me?
Yes.
There are some runs where I do ride as a second person, or they ride with me when we have, a violent or something like that, prisoner, or juvenile prisoners, or during the riots that was going down in Louisville, whenever we'd have something going down to U of L hospital for like MIWs or 202As that I would ride. Those are what those indicate.
Okay. Any other questions for the jailer? If not, we're going to move on. And
Jeff, would you mind if I said a couple words? It's up under other offices.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't have you on the agenda, but if you have something, let's go ahead.
Yeah, I do. Just real briefly. First, I'd like to thank Squire Brewer for helping me consolidate the cameras inside my office and putting them all on one monitor and one DVR. I really appreciate that quite a little bit. I do have a couple extra cameras, a DVR, and the monitor belongs to Squire Beaverson, so I can't give that away, but I do have some decent cameras and a DVR. They're a little bit old, but they do work. And secondly, I would like to, and I didn't get a chance to do this, I'd like to thank the members of the court who supported my salary cap. I didn't get a chance to thank you, and I know what a difficult decision that had to be for you, especially when you have heard over and over and over again how overpaid my deputies are compared to the other county employees. You heard this for the last couple of years. You heard it before you even got sworn in. So I do appreciate that. And to that end, I did a little bit of looking around, and I hope you all are aware what the hourly rates are of all the employees in the county. But based on what my deputies are making right at the present time, there's 11 employees that make the same as my employees do. But more importantly, there's 33 county employees. The judge says we consider them all county employees, no matter the responsibilities. There's 33 county employees who make more than my highest paid deputy, some of them significantly more than my highest paid deputy, and one 2 times as much as my highest paid deputy. Now, I don't resent anybody making what they make on an hourly basis. I never have. What I do resent is the perpetuation of misinformation, and it does no good. All it does is cause divide in the county. And Squire Beaverson said he's talked to disgruntled employees. But I want to know, where are those employees, those disgruntled employees, getting their information from? Because if they actually had the facts in front of them, I don't think they'd be so upset with the employees in my office. There might be other county employees they're upset with, but it won't be the ones in my office. And I call the perpetuation of this misinformation fake news. You can call it what you want, but please do your own due diligence before we go into this budget cycle and see what people are actually making. I think you'll find out it's not what you've been told. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to move on then to old business. And the first item is the proposals for the disc golf equipment. And we did advertise that on the website. We got one proposal. Didn't really expect a whole lot of proposals from Tanglewood. That's in your packet. And my recommendation is that we accept their proposal and that we transfer for the grand total of $1 the surplus disc golf equipment to Tanglewood.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we've got a motion.
I'll second it.
All right, we got a motion and a second. Any questions?
Judge, I'll just say again, I don't like how this bid was put together, where the qualifying parameters were so limited. And I just don't think that was right. So I'll end up being a no.
Okay, appreciate your comments there, Squire Beaverson. As you know, what we have, the community for many years now has been.
I understand the history of it, and that's not it.
Let me just say,
this is only about the bid. This is not about the use of it.
Well,
okay.
I wanted to make sure that this equipment was put to use and was going to benefit the community.
I got it.
All right. Any other comments?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I didn't see where there's any time limit where they have to do this.
No, they're going to start immediately. So they're already actually working on it.
Okay.
To plan for it. So.
Okay.
All right. Any other questions? If not, please call the roll on the motion.
Squire Beaverson?
No.
Judge Riley?
Yes.
Squire Travis?
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody?
Yes.
Squire Brewer?
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes.
I'm not sure you called me, but that's a yes from me. So motion passes, and we'll go ahead and take care of that. The next item, I'm sorry.
I said I did call roll. I called all of you.
Okay, good enough. And let's see, the next item is web hosting, Squire Beaverson.
Okay, basically this comes down to the recommendation for between QX, who is it? Gator, HostGator, and I mean, it's in the packet. I mean, I'd like to just go ahead and make a motion to approve it.
Okay, your recommendation is to do what, just to be clear on it?
To go with HostGator at a total cost of hosting and unlimited email boxes with a 3-year contract, $1,078.28 and 20 cents, excuse me.
And that's over 3 years.
Correct. That's a discounted price.
Okay. And so you're making the motion that we go ahead and move our web hosting and email to HostGator.
That is correct.
Okay. Got a motion?
For a second.
Then we've got a second. Okay. I'll just make one comment before we vote on this, that that's going to take a little bit of, it's not just, as I said at the last meeting, it's not a matter of just flipping a switch. So it's going to take a little bit to get that done. So we will go ahead and call the roll on the motion.
Judge Riley?
Yes.
Squire Travis?
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody? Squire Jerry Moody?
Yes.
Squire Brewer?
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody?
Yes.
Squire Beaverson?
Yes.
Motion passes. We're going to move right along to new business. And the first item under new business is the adoption of roads into the county road system. It would be for Kings Mill. There are 3: Alexander Way, St. James Court, and Waverly Court. So this is Spencer County Ordinance number 5, fiscal year 2021 series. And it's an ordinance relating to the adoption of roads into the county road system. The ordinance calls for reducing the bond by 50% if we pass this ordinance and adopt this ordinance. We will hold that for 1 year, and then we will evaluate it and reduce it or eliminate the bond after 1 year. So.
Okay, this is Travis. That's in my district, and I'll make a motion that we approve that ordinance number 5.
We got a motion. This is a first reading, by the way. Got a motion?
Squire Brewer, second.
And Squire Brewer, second. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody,
Yes.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley.
Yes. Motion passes. We'll set that up for a second reading at our next meeting. Next item is animal removal contract. As you know, last year we were kind of caught in the lurch with the bluegrass outfit essentially going out of business very quickly. Anderson County and Spencer County opted to go with the current, that is Hardin Animal Removal. As it has turned out, that's been a very, very expensive contract. I was not happy with it. I know a lot of people were not happy because of, mainly because of the cost, but also because farmers also had to pay over and above what the county was paying. So I reached out to a couple of counties, Shelby County being the one that referred me to Countryside Industries. As you can see, there is something in your packet that shows what counties they already service. There's about 12 or 13 counties, including Shelby County. And I hope that that the contract, you should have that in your packet. It wasn't in the initial packet, but I caught that and asked them to add that to it or to send it to you separately. Convoy Enterprises is who I'm recommending. I know Anderson County is going to be going to Convoy Enterprises. It's actually, well, it goes under the name of Countryside Industries. Their proposal is to charge $100 per animal, charge nothing to the farmer. They will bill us monthly based on the actual number of animals they pick up. So if they pick up 10, they're going to charge us $1,000. If it's 2, they're going to charge us $200. So we will, I just heard from the soil conservation this afternoon. I believe that we can, what happened when we went with the Hardin animal pickup, soil conservation stopped supplementing the fiscal court for animal pickup, and they began reimbursing farmers for what they had to pay for their pickup on their end. So there's a strong possibility, it's not, I think it's a certainty that we now will be able to reverse that, and they will be able to subsidize that again directly to fiscal court. So my recommendation is to contract with Convoy Enterprises LLC, going under the name of Countryside Industries. I hope you all have got that contract in front of you. If not, I can, does no one have that? That was supposed to be emailed out to you and put in your packet. So Jim, you had a hard copy of the packet, and that may be why you don't have it, but.
I didn't see it in the email anywhere either, so.
Okay, I'll be happy to furnish you, but this is should be a very easy decision. We're going, this will be actually probably better than the bluegrass contract that we had before. So
can I have a comment?
Yes.
Before we vote on it? What kind of proof do we have on how many animals they pick up? Is that just their word?
Yes, but we'll be able to verify. They're going to give us reports of who they pick up. Same as we've been getting from Hardin. I don't think we got that kind of detail from bluegrass, but we will be getting the monthly reports, and it will be, as the contract says here, monthly and include a detailed report of all pickups. So we will have that information and be able to verify it. So I'll entertain a motion. I'm sorry, go ahead, Jerry.
I have no information on this at all. And I have a couple of questions I think are important. First thing, are they going to charge the same to pick up a cow and calf? Is a calf cheaper than the cow?
No, it's cost. I'm sure. Sorry, Jerry. Let me. I'm trying to share this screen with you so you can see the contract. Can you all see that?
I cannot see it.
Jerry's on the phone.
Judge, this is Squire Brewer. I recommend that we table this because I don't have a copy of it.
Let's not table this. Our contract as you know, I don't like to table items. We can put it off to the next meeting. However, we need to, the contract with Hardin is going to expire at the end of this month. You know, I don't particularly want to call a special meeting just to deal with this. It should really be a pretty easy decision. So it's a $100 per animal pickup, no charge to the farmer. It's bill us based on the actual number of animals picked up.
Well, then let's vote.
We need to notify Hardin that we are going to be leaving them, and it's going to be an education process amongst the farmers to notify them of this change. I really am going to ask you to not put this off to the next meeting, which would be February 1st. Let's move on this. It's it's going to be up to you all, but I'm going to strongly encourage you to go ahead and authorize me to sign this contract.
So our contract is going to be up with Hardin County no matter what, right?
Yes. Well, I'm going to cancel it. I mean, it's
only a 1-year contract.
That's correct. Yeah. I don't like doing this. I know that, and I apologize that some of you should have gotten that. That was supposed to come out to you in a separate email, or I thought that Molly was going to get those packets changed. Evidently, it did not happen. And
the contract with Hardin up officially at the end of the month.
We need it will be up at the end of the month, yeah, and we need to cancel it or not renew it.
But I mean,
we don't want to leave the farmers in a position where they have no one. So
right, what I'm saying is that the end of our 1-year contract with them? We're not breaching the contract, are we?
No. It's the end of the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Judge, can you hear me? This is Mike.
Yeah, Mike, go ahead.
Somewhere where you flip screens and stuff, my screen is now blank. I can't see.
I'm trying to restore that.
Okay, I just want to make sure I didn't need to reboot or something.
Yeah.
Well, we can see you. I can anyway.
And I got a copy of this contract on my electronic packet.
Okay, so everybody that got the electronic packet has got that. And I, for the life of me, don't know how to restore this to a full screen. Well, you just have to bear with me.
It should be along the bottom.
Well, I'm like you all. I tried to
unshare the screen. Run your cursor along the bottom, and it should pop up saying unshare screen.
No, it won't let me down to that part of it, Brett. Let me see if I can expand this out a little bit. Okay, well.
can you hit the X up in the top right of that contract?
Yeah, it'll still be his desktop though.
There you go.
No. Okay, well,
Judge, it's cold weather and those cows will keep for a day or two.
yeah. Well, you know, I tell you, we're going to have to, guys, this really should be a no-brainer. We're talking about $100 per animal. I can tell you that that's significantly lower than what we have been paying, in addition to losing the revenue from soil conservation. So,
what was the volume of the last person that was picking them up?
I'm sorry?
How many animals was the last place picking up? The one that's their contract's getting ready to end?
I can give you a monthly tally on that, but Mike, it was averaging over $400 per animal.
Okay.
Yeah.
They picked up 85 animals for the year.
And what we paid them, like $2,500 a month?
We paid them $29,000 and something.
Yeah.
Plus whatever soil conservation paid them.
Really would it? I mean, I'll go ahead and make the motion. I hope somebody seconds. I hope we go ahead and move forward with this.
Seconds.
Motion to authorize the county judge, me, it's kind of an odd motion, to go ahead and contract with Convoy Enterprises for dead animal pickup. Jim, was that a second from you?
Yes.
Got a motion and a second. We've discussed this, or if there's any other questions, just let me know. Otherwise, call the roll on the motion, please.
Or Jerry Moody,
No.
or Brewer,
No.
or Mike Moody,
Yes.
or Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley,
Yes.
or Travis.
Yes.
Motion passes. Thank God. Okay. I will go ahead and get that. I apologize that was not in some of your packets. Next up is EMS quote for a mannequin for training. There's actually an adult and a child size mannequin, and I'm going to turn it over to Chris Limp for an explanation on that.
Judge, before you do that, is there any chance we're going to get some video back so we can?
Well, I'm going to try here. I keep trying. I don't know what the heck I did. All I did was try to share a screen, and
well, that part went well.
Yeah,
but the reversing it didn't.
Yeah, I don't know what the heck I'm afraid to hit too many buttons here. It's screwed up even more. Let's see.
Judge, if you move your cursor all the way to the bottom of your screen.
No, I've tried that. It won't let me in there. That would work if it would let me down there. I know what you're talking about, those buttons at the bottom, but it won't let me.
If you try going back to the first document you shared, you had that whole document highlighted. Maybe right click off of that so it's no longer highlighted, and see if that works.
Okay, I just got my screen back, Judge. If you go back to the bottom where you'll have your internet button, and maybe you got a couple windows open. If you will click on that, it'll pull them up and you can open that back up. Or that's what worked on my computer.
Oh, here we go. Let's see here. How's that?
There you go.
All right.
That's good.
Okay, go ahead, Chris. I'm sorry.
And forgive me, I don't have that. I'm at home tonight, so I don't have the information in front of me on the man.
Okay.
It should be in your packet.
That's in your packet. There's two. One of them is an adult size ALS trainer, full body mannequin and carry bag. Price is $4,160. The pediatric trainer is $1,000. And then you've got some, I had Chris put the pictures of our current equipment in there. You can see it's just completely worn out.
That current mannequin was donated to us probably 14 or 15 years ago, and it's been well used and pieced back together on multiple occasions. It was old when we received it. It was a nurse that was retiring from teaching and donated it to EMS. I hadn't been working here very long. I remember we got the donation, but it's
Motion
just
to approve both mannequins.
It's a total of $5,200 for both. We got a motion.
Second.
And was that Squire Brewer?
Was.
We got a motion and a second. Any questions?
Yeah, Chris, is there any CARES money left for that, or is it all gone?
I don't know that that would be an applicable expense underneath CARES because it doesn't go directly to providing care for COVID patients or response to that. It's just strictly to increase our training capability at EMS.
$5,000 every 15 years is a great purchase.
All right. Any other questions? If there are none, call the roll, please.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody.
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. We'll get those ordered.
Gentlemen.
And the next item is budget considerations. For lack of better terms, I've just put it under budget considerations, and you can see we are, of course, entering into the process of preparing a new budget for the 2021/22 fiscal year. There's some things that I need your guidance on as to, to help prepare that budget. And so I've got a list of some things. You may have other things that you want to put on there, but the number, we'll just take these one at a time. I know Squire Travis, you've been interested in widening Washburn Lane, and that's been one of his goals. And I actually had that on the list of things that I gave you before you took office because Squire Travis had indicated that was a goal of his. In February, or I think it was February. No, take that back. It was March of 2019. We got the estimates back from the engineer, and you can see that the section between Hostrasser Lane and Chapman Lane was going to run over $440,000.
Hey, Judge,
hang on just a second, Jim. To widen all the way up to Highway 155 was going to run nearly $1 million. We've not updated. These are, like I say, from March of 2019, but it was a little out of reach. I think that Squire Travis, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to talk here, Squire Travis.
Can I say something? I think if you look over in the next page or two, you'll see all that information about that. We could talk about that at that time, if you don't mind.
Okay, well, it's a little out of reach. I mean, I see what, and you've got quite a few things wrong in that As far as people that you've talked to, looking at item number 5, Randall Embry is not with the 5th District Transportation. He's with KIPTA. There's another one here that Tom Hall, you've got him with Salt River Electric. Tom Hall's actually the 5th District Transportation. So I'm not sure who all you've talked to and what you've talked to them about, but it's going to be, you know, we've got 1-lane roads all over this county, and I am not recommending that we dedicate that kind of money to that road. Now, I know that Squire Travis is concerned about future development, and I think that's when that needs to be taken up, as these developers come to planning and zoning and say, I want to rezone this 100 acres or that 50 acres or what have you. And, you know, there may be a need, which this county didn't do for a long time, to require the developers to improve the roadway. It really needs to be done to county specs. I know Jim has talked about, you know, doing it, I guess, less than county specs and just try to widen it out by a couple of feet on either side. That really doesn't accomplish what you've laid out in what the future development. I mean, if it's going to be future development service, it needs to be to county specs. So I would not recommend, I mean, we can take a vote on these things if you want, or however you want to handle it. I just need the guidance. When I saw the cost estimates, it was cost prohibitive to consider widening Washburn Lane. So does the court want me to budget for widening Washburn Lane or not?
No, I would just like to have my say so.
Okay, we don't want to budget for Washburn Lane. Go ahead, Jim.
Well, you want to go ahead and go down through your list there, and then on the next
page. We can take up Washburn Lane at another time. We've got a long meeting here, so yeah, we'll go ahead. Ambulance, we're going to need to replace Med 3. My recommendation is to do that in the upcoming budget, not in the current budget. It's going to take a little while to get that, so we're looking at somewhere around $140,000 to maybe $150,000 to replace that. New ambulance barn, my recommendation is to consider building a new ambulance barn, repurpose the existing barn for the road department. My sense is that this court does not have an appetite to do that. If there is, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm not going to budget for it unless there's support to do that. Coroner van, I think that Jerry's been working very hard on getting some of this equipment and vehicles upgraded. He's currently looking at what we can do in terms of a coroner van. That may actually come in this current fiscal year. If not, it will definitely be in the next fiscal year. Animal shelter vehicle, same thing there. It really depends on what Jerry can come up with, and I gave him some information on that today, so I'm not sure whether that'll pan out. There's I guess it's either a city or a county out in Colorado that has one, only has 42,000 miles on it for sale for $15,000. So I don't know if Jerry's had a chance to talk to them to find out more information on it, but I know he will continue to do that. New animal shelter. When I first came into office, shortly thereafter, I had budgeted a couple of $100 of borrowed money to build an animal shelter. It wouldn't even begin to build an animal shelter. I'm estimating a new animal shelter is going to run $350,000 plus. My recommendation would be to build that on the land that we have behind the Dollar General next to the high school. My sense is that this court does not have an appetite to do that, and that's fine. I can tell you that the community has demonstrated over and over their desire to build a new animal shelter. But again, I'll need your guidance. If you want me to budget for that, I'll be happy to, unless I hear some positive remarks from enough of you to, you know, I'm probably not going to budge. I hope I'm not guessing wrong here, but I don't believe that this court has the appetite to do something like that. Planning and zoning vehicle, same thing as the coroner van. And I think, I believe actually we're going to be voting maybe on that this evening to go on and get a replacement for that. Economic development, that's something that we've not had an economic development office for, golly, I don't know, that was ended under Bill Carr's term. Mike, you might be able to tell me when that was actually ended. Was it about the midterm?
Yeah, it's been about 10 years.
About 10 years.
Yeah, but the reality is, you know, there was a lot of money spent on that with no results.
I agree.
Zero.
Yeah, and that was, I would not recommend doing what we did before. That was a waste of money. But this community is one of the probably, if not maybe the only county that does not have an economic development outreach in this in our area. So we are part of a larger region. When I came into office, some of you know this, some of you don't. I got very active with GLI, which is a regional economic development effort. So my sense again is that the appetite of this court is to not fund an economic development office, and that's fine. Again, I just need to know if you want to do that, let me know and I'll budget for it, but no sense in wasting our time. Insurance premium tax adjustment, I've got this on here. This court has looked at it, and I can tell you that that was lowered, Mike, as you know, from Judge Carr's court from 4% to 3%. The city has been for a number of years at 7%. This would not affect anything within the city because anything outside of the city limits. But if we're going to consider an adjustment in that, it would need to be done by ordinance before about mid-March to about the third week in March. We would not receive any revenue from that adjustment until probably September. It would take effect July 1, and we would not realize anything from it until like September. Again, my sense is that this court does not have the appetite, didn't before, and I'm certain that the court does not have the appetite to do that. Now, I can tell you that Bullitt County is at 10%, Shelby County is at, I think, 10, Oldham County is at 10. So at 3, you know, we're going to be falling behind. So, but again, my sense, and that's fine. I just need to, again.
Can I say something about that? Can I say something about that, Judge, about the tax?
Yeah, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
It seems to be, and y'all correct me if I'm wrong, there seems to be a lot of envy for higher taxes, and people should be envying us for having lower taxes.
Yeah, well,
that's what I got to say about that.
Okay, well, the envy is not for higher taxes. The envy is for things within our community. If you look at communities around us, they're thriving with investment because they have an economic development office.
They also have interstates.
We don't want to fund one. Again, the community has demonstrated over and time again with a pretty loud voice that they would like to see a new animal shelter, particularly one that will deal with cats, which, early on, I thought the cat problem was in the city. It's actually, in some cases, worse in the county. So, but that's fine. The envy is not for a higher tax. The envy is for moving the community forward and setting the agenda for this and the course for this community to move forward over the next, not year, not 2 years, but 10 years out, 15 years out. And if anybody believes that the cost of county government in one of the fastest, if not the fastest growing population-wise county in the state, that things are going to be less expensive or we're going to have less cost for EMS or for the sheriff or some of these other things. You know, is it, you know, would you say it's going to be less, more, or stay about the same? I can almost assure you that the future courts in this community are going to be wrestling with that. So again, it's, I'm not going to try to do anything on that because I think the court has already spoken. I just wanted to make you aware that if you do want to do something, let me know. Land purchase, there's an opportunity. The schools own a vacant lot that they use to park buses on that sits directly behind the Chamber of Commerce. That will be coming up for sale. And with the progress that is being made, and it's very slow progress, but eventually this community will have a updated and new courthouse facility. We've needed that for a long time. The purchase of what is called the $90,000 gravel lot made that possible. And that is moving. But once that's done, we're going to need parking, and we need, it would be an excellent area to stage up for construction. But again, my sense is, my recommendation would be to purchase that lot, but my sense is this court doesn't have the appetite to do that. So if there's a change in that, please let me know. But they don't make more land, especially in a downtown area. And we would be very wise to purchase that, but that's just one man's opinion. So are there any other items? And this was going to be our budget is not going to be worked out in this meeting tonight. These were just some things that I wanted to bring before you. I kind of felt like I had the answer already. Just wanted to confirm that with you all. We do not want to do anything in regard to economic development. We don't want to do anything in regard to building an animal shelter. Ambulance barn, that's kind of off the table. Insurance premium tax is off the table. So with that, I'm going to move on unless somebody has, Jim, you wanted to talk about Washburn Lane, or you want to do that tonight, or do you want to do that in another meeting?
I'd like to do it right now.
All right, go ahead.
I think you have the information in your packets. All of you do. Do you see the graph that QK4 put together for widening of Washburn Lane? Does everybody see that? Do they have that? Okay. On that graph, look down through there. There's not, Washburn Lane's not listed anywhere on there. It's Hostrasser Lane.
No,
let me start from the beginning. Okay, it says Kentucky 155 to Nevin Lane. Kentucky 155, that's by the water tower out there. And it goes up to Nevin Lane, which is the entrance into Goble Crossings. They've got a price there to do that. And you see what it is, $64,000 plus water line relocation. That road was widened when Goble Crossings that entrance was put in. It is 20 foot wide. It is up to county specs, but they've got that listed. You go on down to the next, Nevin Lane to Hostrasser Road. Okay, that's when you go around the curve and you go down towards Washburn. That's Hostrasser. They've got that listed at $203,000, $97,000 for water line relocation. That is not Washburn Lane. The last column there, it says Hostrasser to Maddox. That's Washburn to Maddox. It's not Hostrasser. And it says $249,000 to redo Washburn Lane. And they've got $118,000 water line relocation. Well, the water line is on the south side of Washburn Lane, and all the widening will be done on the north side. The water line will not be even touched or have to be relocated. And the bridge culvert replacement for $75,000. So the total cost right there is not $964,000 as you see it. It's actually $325,000 with a new bridge at the crossover. Now, this is a misinformation that was put forward in 2019 when I brought this up. So, and let me just give you a little bit of, few minutes of background. We can apply for emergency flex money from the state rural secondary road in Frankfort on an emergency basis to replace the washover bridge down there. And we can apply for emergency discretionary funds from the secondary rural roads in Frankfort. And I've got the two forms. I talked to the people. All you got to do is fill them out and send them in. And we could get Washburn Lane widened to county specs, and we could get the bridge replaced at no cost to the county if we just pursue it. That's all I ask. And Tom Hall does work for RECC.
Okay.
May not be the Tom Hall you know.
All right.
What do you guys think about that?
Well, if pursuing it means that you're going to continue to get information and bring it back to court, then I say go for it. If it's not going to cost the county anything, I say that we try to pursue that as long as it's not going to cost the county anything, like the money that are talked about.
Okay. What we've got is the washover bridge. QK4 did a survey of that. It's going to get, they're going to give us what size culvert or bridge needs to go in there. They weren't going to charge us anything for that. And in Frankfort, they need the cost of that bridge replacement along with some pictures and that they sent me to send it back to them. And Craig Caudell said he could make that decision within an hour. He has the ability to do that, an emergency funds, and that is an emergency culvert there because people could get washed off and drowned. Okay, so we can get that done. And the discretionary money, he said that takes a couple of weeks to get an answer on that, but we need a cost estimate on what it's going to take to bring it up to county specs. The only way I can get that is that the court approves QK4 doing a cost analysis just on Washburn Lane from one end to the other. And so I can send that as a cost estimate with this form to apply for the emergency discretionary funds. If we can't do that, then I don't have any other way to go. So we need to get QK4 to at least give us what it would cost for them to give us that cost estimate on widening Washburn Lane. That's all I'm asking for. It's going to cost us a little bit, whatever they charge to do that. I'm asking for.
Okay, so you want a cost estimate from QK4 for just Washburn from Chapman up to Host Drive.
That's what I asked for 2 years ago, and this is what you gave me.
And there will be a cost to that. So I mean,
there will be, but
I'll be happy.
If you could call them and ask them what they would charge the county at the next meeting, we can vote if we want to do it or not.
Sounds good. I'll be glad to do that.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Next up is an ordinance to reduce the speed limit on Washburn Lane from 35 to 25.
Judge Riley, could we possibly add something to your budget consideration? Possibly.
You sure can.
Election equipment? Yes,
I'm glad you mentioned that, Lynn, because that is something that we're going to have to budget for. I hope that I know you don't have answers obviously tonight on that, but election equipment is something that we will have to budget for in the upcoming fiscal year budget because they're going to need that for the 2022 election. So anything else, Lynn?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. So as soon as you get something on that, if you'll get that to me, I'd appreciate it. Okay, ordinance number 4, an ordinance establishing a 25-mile.
This is Terry. I can barely hear her. It's cutting in and out.
Okay. How about now, Jerry? You might have a bad connection out where you are, but I'm not sure. We are at ordinance number 4 to reduce the speed limit on Washburn Lane from 35 to 25. This is a first reading, and Jim, you are muted. So I assume you want to make a motion to adopt the first reading?
I do. I'll make a motion. We adopt that to ordinance number 4.
All right. And is there a second?
Barber, second.
Barber, second it. Any comments, questions, or concerns? If not, call the roll.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
No.
Judge Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis,
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody, Squire Jerry Moody.
I believe Jerry has,
I believe he's not on there now.
I don't see him on there now. He lost his connection evidently. Let's see if you're going to get him back. I might have to just wait. Can you recap the votes on that, Clerk?
Squire Mike Moody voted yes. Squire Beaverson voted no. Judge Riley voted yes. Squire Travis voted yes.
Okay, and we're looking for Squire Jerry Moody and who else? There's another one outstanding. Who's outstanding on the vote?
I think that would be me.
Squire Brewer. There's Jerry. Let's make sure he's up and running here. Jerry, can you hear us? Hey, Jerry.
I think I'm back.
I think you're back. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay, we're taking the vote, a roll call vote on the motion to adopt ordinance number 4 to reduce the speed limit on Washburn Lane to 25.
Is this at the request of the sheriff?
No, it's at the request of the magistrate in that district.
It's at the request of several of the people who live on Washburn.
Jerry, it's your vote.
Okay. I would rather for the sheriff to request something like that.
Well, it's typically that it would go through a magistrate. It was, I think, last year, Squire Mike Moody requested a reduction up on Highview Drive. The problem in reducing going from 35 to 25 is enforcement. I see the sheriff on here, but that's always going to be a problem is enforcement.
I don't have a problem with it.
I don't have a, if they want to reduce it to 25, we can reduce it to 25.
Okay, I'll go ahead and vote yes if that's okay.
Okay.
The sheriff's okay.
All right. Squire Brewer.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes, and we'll get that ready for a second reading at our next meeting. And the next item is quotes for new flooring in the fiscal court meeting room. We've got a couple of different quotes there. One is for carpet, one is for a planked surface, like a vinyl, similar to what is in the sheriff's office, similar to what was put in the elevator and vestibule down here in the courthouse. And I believe it's similar to what PVA put in her office 2 years ago, I believe now. So I would recommend that we go with the harder surface. It's probably a little easier to clean and maintain versus carpet, but that's up to you. There's about looks like $1,000 difference to go to the harder surface. So anybody care to make a motion to resurface the floor? It's been needed for a long time. I had that on my list back during the previous administration of previous court. So it's pretty well worn out, and it'd be nice to get that replaced before we go back to live meetings, which hopefully will be relatively soon. So would anybody care to make a motion to replace that flooring, and with what material?
Judge, I do have a comment. I would like to see more than one one request here, you know, from the same company. We seem to be going back to only asking for quotes from one company and not getting multiple quotes.
No, we asked. I know Randy had asked a couple of other companies, and they did not quote. If we want to put this off to another meeting, we can do that. Try to get more quotes.
Sounds good.
Okay, let's do that. Next up is personnel. Chris has got a email in there. He'd like to hire Taylor Nation to a part-time EMT position at $13.50 an hour.
That's pending drug test and criminal background check.
Motion to approve hiring Taylor Nation as a EMS part-time at $13.50 pending background check and drug screening.
Got a motion.
Second.
Squire Mike Moody, second. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Squire Beaverson?
Yes.
Judge Riley?
Yes.
Squire Travis?
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody?
Yes.
Squire Brewer?
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Next up, we've got parks and recycling. As you all know, I really don't prefer to, I really don't like calling parks because there's so much more than that. As you know, I've recommended that we consolidate that under one director, have parks and recycling, but that's not going to, hasn't happened and evidently won't. So we're down to three people at what we're going to call parks. One, as you know, is RE, who is, I don't know how much longer he'll be able to work. I'm not going to think it's right to force him to retire, but he's not going to be helpful for too awful much longer, I don't believe. And I would recommend hiring 2 full-time people. Let's beef that back up. We have cut parks and recycling beyond the bone. Recycling, we've got 2 full-time employees over there, Karen and Wayne. I can tell you Wayne is, at least I'm hearing, I don't like to go into a lot of personnel issues in a public meeting, but he has indicated that he is looking for another position somewhere. If we lose RE and we lose Wayne, we'll be down to 3 people to cover recycling and everything that Parks does. I don't think that's the position this court wants to be in, but I could be wrong. So my recommendation is to look to hire 2 full-time people over at Parks and 1 full-time person at recycling. And other than that, I'll abide by whatever the court decides. Would anybody like to talk on the issue?
Yeah, Judge, I think at our last meeting, Brett had some problems because we didn't have an hourly rate for those positions. Do we have that?
We do not. Brett had an issue because it was not on the agenda, and believe something else. I don't think it was over the hourly rate, but I mean, you know, we're going to be looking at.
Why don't we ask Brett what it was?
Brett, what was it? Do you have an issue with hiring at this point? I thought it was because it wasn't on the agenda.
Well, first thing I want to know is if currently we have 3 full-time parks and we're expecting, or there's possibly somebody will leave, why don't we wait until that person leaves?
Okay.
If they're going to. And then it's on recycling. I mean, is there an open position that we're just trying to fill?
Well, I can tell you that the parks, when you look at parks, and again, that's just a horrible thing to call the, you got basically Brian, Adrian, and RE. They are constantly over at recycling, trying to keep them caught up in addition to doing some of their stuff. So we've been doing that for over a year now. Again, we've cut those 2 beyond the bone. We've cut and cut, and it's time that we get those employees back up. Now, one thing that has helped Squire Beaverson is the fact that, and I don't object to this at all, we have pulled in significantly, pulled back away from recycling in the form of putting these trailers out all over the county. That so we have not been doing that for quite some time. So that's been a help. And I'm not really recommending, going, putting those back out. I mean, the people treat them like dumpsters. It's very expensive. It's far too expensive. I know I'm going to get some agreement from Squire Jerry Moody on that, we have pulled in significantly, and that's helped from the labor standpoint. But and I'm not going to recommend that we put those trailers back out. If nothing else, we can surplus some of those trailers.
Didn't we just buy a bunch more of those with some grant money?
It's a different type of trailer. It's more of what I'm referring to is the ones that are compartmentized,
right,
or various different materials. I'm trying to think where all they've been.
Back to the parks and the number of personnel. Are we looking at a net gain of personnel?
Yes.
Are we? Okay.
Yes, I'd like to see a net gain of personnel.
And we currently have 3
at parks.
You're asking for 2 full-time. That would be 5 full-time if nobody quits.
Well, I'm not going to get into a lot of personal issues. But
okay, then 3 + 2 = 5.
That's correct.
How many positions there? So I'll go back to my original question was, is there an open position or 2?
Well, what we have cut, okay, for example, over at Recycle Center, we had, at one time, we had 3 full-time employees, plus we had 2 jail inmates that came over. We've got 2 now.
Okay.
With one saying that he, and hopefully he stays. I'm not going to hold anybody back if they can better themselves. But
okay, now you're saying that we have 2 full-time at parks.
No.
Okay,
no,
that's what I thought I heard you just now said.
Recycle Center.
Okay, let's go back to Recycle Center. I was only talking about parks. Okay, Recycle Center.
Okay.
Is this a net gain of 1 then? So it'd be a total of 3?
Let me do this in the interest of saving time here, because we're an hour and 20 minutes into this meeting already. I don't think we're going to make any headway on this particular issue. So I'm going to go on and pass over this and move to the next issue, because I don't think the appetite for this court is to hire any more people at either parks or recycling center.
So my suggestion would be not just put it on the agenda, but also put it in the packet showing exactly what you're wanting. Otherwise, we're sitting there trying to make a decision based off a conversation rather than being able to read it ahead of time.
Okay. I guess, Squire Beaverson, what I wanted to try to head off is the potential that we get down to 3 people over there. And we're already way behind on stuff, particularly as the mowing season comes forward. I know we've got several more months for that, but again, we're not going to make a decision on that this evening. I think it's pretty clear. So we're going to, if it's okay with the court, move on to item number 8 under new business, and that is the transport plan, the sheriff's office and jailer, and deputy jailers. As you know, when this court came in, we do have a new jailer, and I see the jailer is on here. But before this new jailer, the court security folks over at the sheriff's office were filling in the gaps and helping with doing the not only the transports for court appearances, but also, quote, what was termed as fresh arrest or newly arrested people.
I'll make a motion to approve the transport plan that's in our packet.
Okay, we got a motion, and it was
Travis seconds that.
And Squire Travis seconds. Okay, and there were just 2 small changes in that transport plan that will allow, and this is based on the Attorney General's opinion that we just got. So, we've got a motion and we got a second to adopt the new transport or the amended transport plan. Any comments, questions, concerns?
Judge, I noticed in reading it, like, in one place it says, like under section 4, juvenile transports, for example, Spencer County jailer and or his, her designee. But then in section 2, it just says Spencer County jailer on the, where it starts out. And then on the last sentence of section 3, it's the same. Well, shouldn't it say Spencer County jailer or his, her designee in all those places?
Now there's a couple of issues. Section 2 has to do with the Spencer County jailer shall be responsible for transporting from Spencer County to the detention facility contracted by Spencer. This is for the new arrest. What was added, Squire Moody, was the last sentence, is that the Spencer County Sheriff, designated deputy or court security officer, may assist the Spencer County jailer upon request from the jailer as needed. That's the only change in section 2, and there was a change in section 3. Again, it was the very last sentence. The Spencer County jailer may assist the Spencer County Sheriff in transporting inmates to and from court appearances upon request from the sheriff as needed. So what that means is that the jailer, and once we've adopted this, my recommendation is that we no longer will need deputy jailers. The court security folks over at the sheriff's office can do that work, where when we came into office, we were told that they could not. The Attorney General's opinion after 2 years confirms that court security officers can transport a newly arrested person with no problem.
So they could, or a deputy jailer could. Because obviously we're still gonna have deputy jailers, because
my recommendation
in section 4 under juvenile transports, it says Spencer County jailer or his, her designee, which would indicate that there's still deputy jailers. And so I don't see why they can't handle these other things. Well, why it wouldn't say the same thing in the 2 other spots where it just says Spencer County jailer?
Well, the jailer,
I don't get that.
Yeah. Well, again, that was the only changes I made in this were the last sentence in section 2 and the last sentence in section 3.
Can I weigh in on this?
Yes, go ahead.
What Mike is getting at is in section 4, it says the Spencer County jailer or his or her designee. Am I to assume that I got a deputy for 3 runs a year and I got to hire somebody for that? That's only going to do 3 runs or 3 or 4 runs a year?
No,
because that's what it said.
I know there's a with juvenile transports, could you or a court security person make that transport?
Yes, but that's not what it says. What you have wrote there is that the Spencer County jailer or his or her designee shall be responsible for the transportation of juvenile inmates to the juvenile detention center. And nowhere in there does it say anything about the sheriff's department assisting me.
Doesn't need to. I mean, you can designate a court security person.
They won't be my designee. They won't be my employee. I can't designate somebody without first asking Scott if I can use them. The way that's reading is I just tell a deputy, hey, come with me. And that, I mean, I don't know who you had on schedule at that time.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Good points, guys.
Second of all, I don't have no problem using court security to help. I understand the Attorney General's opinion. I don't agree with it, but I do understand it. But I still foresee some problems in section 2 with that, with Scott Herndon's employees. You're actually asking me now to be at the liberty of the sheriff on, for example, let's say I need to take off a couple of days next week. I got to call and ask Scott if somebody can take my shift instead of me just scheduling one of my guys to do that. I mean, Scott's not going to put his guys under my control.
That's the way we operated for years.
The way we operated for years, John, under Buddy's administration is Buddy was in charge of scheduling and doing all of that stuff. There was the jailer just did what he was told to do. Daryl was against this at that time, and you're one of the ones that know that for a fact.
The difference was that when you came in, your premise was that you had to have deputies because court security people were not allowed to transport a fresh arrest. That's why we hired deputy jailers and furnished them with equipment and vehicle and all that. That turned out not to be the case. And I'm simply saying, let's go back where it was. The jailer is responsible for the transporting of inmates, and you can request assistance from the sheriff, of course.
And if he denies that, what do I do?
Actually, I think you need to work that out with the sheriff. I don't think that the sheriff is going to be unreasonable in working with
me neither. I have a great relationship with the sheriff. That's not what I'm getting at. Okay. The point I'm getting at is you're asking me to schedule his deputies to work or request it. And if they deny that request, listen, here's what I like to say. First of all, me and Scott had a meeting as soon as I won the election. He had no problem with me doing fresh arrests and court security, handling court transports. He said, whatever I wanted. We had another meeting in your office with you, John, and Scott stated the same thing. So what I'm getting at is I love the idea of having those guys available to assist me. I still think I need my 2 deputies so I can schedule them out so we can, so that I don't have to work 160, whatever a week's worth of hours are. But I would love to have them because I still have problems even with my 2 deputies, because sometimes we need 2 deputies. Well, now if Scott's going to assist, now I do have somebody that I can fall back on. But I think there's going to be a lot of problems with the scheduling and use of court security exclusively. And then again, like I said, in number 4, it still says that and doesn't say nowhere in there with the sheriff, will have his or her designee shall be responsible for transportation of the juvenile. I would like it to say, just like it does in number 4, I would like it to say that in number 2, with me also being able to use Scott's guys to assist me there also.
Judge, if I may.
Go ahead, Squire Brewer.
The simple fix, if you want to get rid of number 4, you just remove, the designee from the sentence and add, the sheriff, will assist him at the request of the jailer. But the other point about this is when I know when I voted on this, it was with the understanding that we were hiring deputies to assist the jailer. Well, from the reports, it sure seems to me like the deputies are doing most of the work in the transports and the jailer isn't. So I just I don't understand why the deputies are getting most of the work and the jailer is not doing the transports.
I'd like to weigh in on that. I schedule myself Monday through Friday from 6A to 6P. I picked the daytime because I have other administrative duties I have to do during that daytime shift also, such as dealing with the jail, dealing with medical or expenses or whatever. So also for meetings or anything that anybody might need me to do during the daytime. So I can reschedule that and put myself on at nighttime. And then I guess I can also be available during the daytime, but that puts me back at 24/7. That means I'd be tied down in this county 24/7, not able to do anything else 7 days a week for the entire month. So I schedule myself for 60 hours and I schedule them for the remainder of the time. Plus, I'm also their backup. So when there's 2 needed, I have to be the one to respond. When I say 2 needed, meaning 2 runs, or if there needs to be 2 officers in the vehicle at one time. That's why it seems or appears, and if you'll also look at that as a 2-year total, for 1 year straight, I did all the transports by myself, all of them.
Well, again, as far as I'm concerned, that's the reason why you would want to work with the sheriff, so that proper time can be compensated for you to take off or sick or whatever the case is. I'm sure that the sheriff would be willing to do that
at his approval,
upon your request.
And if he says no,
the county elected you as jailer.
Okay.
Melvin, I ain't never turned you down for anything yet. And I'll work with you any way I can.
Oh, yes, sir. Listen, I want what's best for the county. When I come up with that stuff, it wasn't what was best for me. Actually, most of my knowledge come from Daryl Herndon. And I'm telling you that he was against that for 8 years with the previous administration. For 8 years. Scott's sitting right here. You can ask him. Daryl was mistreated by the last administration, exactly what we're talking about right now. I'm not saying Scott's that way in no way, guys. I got a great relationship with Scott as far as I'm concerned. He's right there.
Can we do this? Can we do a 6-month trial period and let me and my transportation supervisor and the jailer see how we can make things work, and then come back to the court and say, this isn't working, or this is working, or make changes at that time. Because I don't know for sure how it's going to work. I have talked to all my court security people, and they've all agreed that they would take transports at night. Some. Now, most of my transport people or my court security people are like myself. They're getting a little bit of snow on the roof, you know. So none of them want to be out all hours of the night every night. No more than a jailer wants to be out all hours of the night every night.
Well, it's not. I don't feel like it's a matter of whether I want to or not, Scott. You know, like I said, I schedule myself for 60 hours. I know, and I realize it's on call. It ain't like I'm working 60 hours because there's sometimes I don't get calls. But the thing about it is I don't want to, you know, sit there and schedule, you know, I've tied myself down all day. Now I got to tie myself down all night too. Not saying that one of your deputies would do this, but you know, they don't want to work tonight. You know, I mean,
it may come down to the point that, you know,
and meanwhile, with that, Scott, at the same time, you say try this for 6 months. I've got 2 good deputies working for me right now. So,
well, what I was going to say is it may be that I need to take those 2 guys under me as court security officers.
Well, the difference is that both of the 2 that I got right now that I'm comfortable with, they got full-time other jobs. I don't know that they'd be able to go to the school for 2 weeks.
By the run, just like they are now.
Right, but I don't know that but to work for you under court security, they have to do the certification for two weeks up in Richmond. There's a big difference between the training requirements between the deputies and my deputies and your deputies.
Yeah, correct.
I would like to, I mean, Scott did make contact with me a few days ago, said that we need to talk. I think we need to talk some more and then maybe bring this back up later. Cause I'm just not comfortable. I mean, with what's being proposed right now. I'm not saying I won't do it. I'll do whatever this county needs me to do. But, you know, I just think there's a lot of problems here with it being done this way.
Okay, why don't the sheriff and you, the jailer, and I get together and talk this out a little further. You know, the only reason that we've got deputy jailers is the premise that court security people were not allowed to transport fresh arrests, and that turned out to be not true according to the Attorney General's opinion, which carries the weight of law from what I understand. So we'll go ahead and just pass on this for the time being. And if
there is a motion on the floor, though.
Yes, and a second.
Okay.
I'll rescind that motion.
The motion's rescinded. So Scott, you and Melvin and I can sit down and talk about this and perhaps have something for the next meeting. So
in that meeting, I'd like to also include my court security supervisor and transportation.
Yes, I think that's important as well. So,
okay. Or Travis, do you rescind your second?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, next up then is Next up is the Fiscal Court Meeting Room Audio Video, Esquire Beavers.
Okay, guys, the Interstate Security, they came back with a new quote, which was a couple $100 less at $1,199. You can see Justice AV still wanted us to open up our own TV studio with a $30,000 quote. Advanced Global never did get back with a third quote. Basically, all it is, we would just have a PC that has a webcam. Incoming sound would go into that. Julie would go in, or the judge, whoever. Anytime we're having a meeting, you have to start it up so that the recording would be taking place. But then because it's connected to the internet, it'd be able to be live streamed on a number of platforms, whether YouTube or Book Live, and still have the ability to archive each meeting on thumb drives. That's pretty much it. It says optional sound bar, $200. I don't think we need that. So with that, I'll make a motion that we accept the interstate security quote for $1,199.
Okay, and that's installed and?
Correct.
Okay, good.
And training.
We've got a motion.
Squire Brewer, second.
And we've got a second. Any comments, questions, or concerns? Call the roll, please.
Clerk Travis,
Yes.
Clerk Jerry Moody, Squire Jerry Moody,
Jerry, can you hear the clerk? I see you're on here. You're not muted. There, Jerry, can you hear us?
I can hear you now. It's really coming and going out here.
Okay. The vote's to you.
Okay. Is everybody voting yes, or what's going on so far?
You're the second vote.
I'm the second. Oh, okay. And that is how much money are we spending for a PA system or something, or in the meeting room?
$1,200.
Say that again.
$1,200. $1,199.
$7.90. Yes.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley.
Yes. Okay, thank you, Squire Beaverson, for your work on that.
I'll contact them tomorrow.
Okay. You'll need a purchase order from either Molly or Brittany also.
Sure.
And we've got some quotes here for putting down a concrete pad for I believe this is for the dumpster over at the recycle center. We've got one quote for $6,600, another quote for $3,950. And I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. We accept Keller Concrete for $39.50.
We've got a motion.
I'll second it.
And we've got a second. Anybody have any questions?
Just a comment. We did have grant money for $3,051 of that. So we're only going to be responsible for $765.
Okay.
Out of the general fund.
Good
And
deal.
what that is, the 40-yard dumpster that they put the metal in, that is like 36 feet long. We're pouring a 6-inch pad, twice that size. So when they bring the new one in, the back wheels of that big dumpster is just digging into the gravel and the mud over there, just causing a mess. So that's what we're going to use that grant money for.
All righty. Got a motion and a second. Any other comments, questions, or concerns? If not, call the roll, please.
Squire Jerry Moody,
Yes.
Squire Brewer,
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody,
Yes.
Squire Beaverson,
Yes.
Judge Riley,
Yes.
Squire Travis.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get that done. And next up is planning and zoning vehicle, Squire Jerry Moody. Got that in your packet. It is another one of the Ford Police Explorers.
That's correct. It's 016 model. They'll deliver it here for $16,450. And I make a motion to accept it and go ahead and purchase this vehicle.
Okay. We've got a motion.
I'll second.
And Squire Beaverson seconds. I've got just one question, Squire Moody. Are you going to need to drive up there and look at this beforehand, or they're going to just deliver it to us?
They're going to deliver it to us. I'm not driving up. On the last ones, we up there standing with them that they're either going to be right or we're not going to accept them. And I've had no trouble getting along with them at all.
Right. We've had good luck with the ones that we purchased already for the sheriff. So.
Yes, sir.
All right. We've got a motion and a second. Oh, no. Did we get a motion on that?
Yes.
Yes, sir. I made them.
Okay. Yeah, and Squire Brewer seconded. I'm sorry.
Beaverson did.
Oh, Beaverson. I apologize.
Yes.
It's been a long meeting. Okay, call the roll, please, if there's no more questions.
Brewer?
Yes.
Squire Mike Moody?
Yes.
Squire Beaverson?
Yes.
Yes.
Squire Travis?
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody?
Yes.
Okay, next item up is the road department. There's an opportunity to extend the warranties on 2 of the road department tractors. I did not have that information when the packets were sent out, but we knew we were going to get it. And Squire Moody, Jerry Moody, I'll turn it over to you if we need to. It's basically we can extend the warranties on both those tractors for 2 years for $3,000 each, and the road foreman highly recommends that we do that. So I'll turn it over to Jerry Moody.
Okay. I recommend we do it. This first one that we're putting the warranty on is one of the tractors that we already had before the new magistrates, counting myself, was in office, and that's the one that stayed broke down with the mooring machine for about a year. And Todd made an agreement with them, since we couldn't use it, they would let us buy, when the warranty run out, we could buy more warranty. And he had proof that they said that, and he had to fight with them a little bit, but he got it okayed. So we need that insurance on that one, and then and that serial number on that one is 55199, and then the other one that's due is serial number is 58693. And we have an option for $2,000 for 1 year, or we can buy 2 years for $3,000. So I'm making a motion to get 2 years on each one of them, and that's $3,000 a piece. So it'd be $6,000 total coming out of the road fund.
We've got a motion. Anybody here to second that?
Second.
Mike Moody. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I just got a comment. I don't have a problem with that. The problem I have, I think, and Brett does the same thing, is that if it's not in a packet, we shouldn't be bringing it up. Let's put it in a packet where we'll have time to look at it before we come to the meeting. Okay?
We don't have time for another meeting.
I've been in that position before,
it seems like we're in that position 3 or 4 times every meeting about something.
Oh, no, it's not that. But, well, okay. Well, any other comments? If not, call the roll, please.
I will make a.
Go ahead, Jerry. I'm sorry.
I'll make a comment on that. We have gotten a whole lot more money from these warranties than what they've cost us.
Okay, call the roll, please.
Squire Mike Moody?
Yes.
Squire Beaverson?
Yes.
Judge Riley?
Yes.
Squire Travis?
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody,
Yes.
Squire Brewer.
Yes.
Motion passes. Next up is surplus, the old loader. It's a John Deere loader. Got the information on that. Squire Jerry Moody.
Yeah. Judge, I have moved 4 times tonight trying to get a signal.
We're going to get you in a regular movement here. Get membered up.
Yeah, I'll send Randy up here and get it straightened up. And I'm having trouble locating that paper. I turned it in with the serial numbers. It's the old John Deere loader.
Well, it's in the packet.
Yeah, but I moved 4 times. I got paper scattered everywhere. And I've had a rough night. And I can't find it. But anyway, it's the old John Deere loader. And y'all have a serial number on it. And we just need to get it to where we, what do you call it, overstock or obsolete stock or whatever?
Surplus.
Yeah. So we need,
I'll just ask the clerk. I'll ask the clerk. Lynn, do you have that in your packet?
I don't know. It's only 150 pages. I haven't gone through it all yet.
The declaration of surplus property for disposal. I'll make sure that you get it.
Judge, I'll make a motion that we surplus the 1999 John Deere loader.
Thank you.
Deere PC44H, serial number DWTC44H571802.
All right, got a motion.
Second.
And Squire Beaverson seconded. Call the roll, please.
Squire Beaverson.
Yes.
Judge Riley.
Yes.
Squire Travis.
Yes.
Squire Jerry Moody.
yes.
Squire Brewer.
Yes.
Squire Mike Levin.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes. Next up is review of and approval of expenditures, purchases, invoices, and transfers. There, you do have the monthly financial statement and also the quarterly report in your packets. And I'll need a motion to approve the expenditures, purchases, invoices, and transfers.
Motion to approve the bill, pay the bills and make the transfers.
We got a motion.
Second.
Squire Beaverson, okay.
The planning and zoning vehicle we voted to purchase, what account do we want to take it out of, or we may have to do a transfer?
Okay, the treasurer's sitting here with me, and make sure that it reflects in the minutes that he is attending this meeting in my office as usual. He's asking the question before we complete this motion, which one, planning and zoning vehicle for 16, just under $17,000. We're going to need to make an additional transfer. Do you have a recommendation?
I was just going, and I'll send this over to the clerk. 17,000 to set up a 7723 0 vehicle account in planning and zoning, and then take it from the liability, the insurance account, and we'll put it back when we do the next budget amendment.
Okay, and that information, I don't know if you could hear everything that the treasurer said, but we will do a transfer. Let me have the line item number.
25070.
Wait a minute, we'll start from the
201
201
5070
5070
723
723. That's too many numbers.
01 is where it starts. You have 201. It's 10 lines. It should be 10 numbers. 01 5780 723.
Okay, it's going to 015-070-7230. And again, this information will be sent over to the clerk. This is simply a transfer so that we can pay for the almost $17,000 vehicle we authorized to purchase for planning and zoning.
And we'll take it from the insurance account for now.
We're going to take that from the insurance account, and then we'll move that back into the insurance account. So that is, if you all could amend, let's see, if Mike and Brett, if you'll amend your motion to include the additional transfer, appreciate that.
So moved.
So moved.
All right. Now we can call the roll on that.
Judge Riley?
Yes.
Clerk Travis?
Yes.
Lord Jerry Moody?
Yes.
Lord Brewer?
Yes.
Lord Mike Moody?
Yes.
Lord Beaverson?
Yes.
All right. Motion passes. Anything else need to come before the court tonight?
Judge, I do have one thing. Sorry, but what is the status of all the other vehicles that we've had surplus over the last 6 months that have not had anything done with them?
I'll defer to Squire Moody on that.
I have no idea.
I'd say I know it was some sheriff's vehicles. I know it was some road department vehicles, but I've never seen them come up since then. So I can speak for one of those vehicles, and that would be the International that was surplus. I've instructed the road department since we do not have the equipment to push snow with. Thank goodness we've not had a lot of snow, but I've instructed them to go ahead and use that truck. I think Squire Beaverson noted just because it's surplus doesn't mean we can't use it. So, frankly, I think we ought to reverse that decision. I know the road foreman has recommended that, but that'll be for another meeting. Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything else? How about a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Squire Brewer.
Second, Travis.
Squire Travis, seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 We are now adjourned. Thank you all.